At 67, Viggo Mortensen talks candidly about Sir Christopher Lee. There was one moment during The Lord of the Rings that never made it into the movie, yet I think it says more about Christopher Lee than any scene he ever filmed. An 81-year-old actor quietly corrected the director about what death really sounds like. The set fell silent. No one argued. And standing nearby was Viggo Mortensen, watching a lesson that had nothing to do with acting. Years later, Viggo finally admitted that Christopher Lee didn't just help him play Aragorn. He changed the way he thought about truth itself. When people talk about Viggo Mortensen, they usually start with Aragorn. Honestly, I think that's the easy version of his story. Because before he ever picked up a sword in Middle-earth, he had already spent nearly 20 years becoming the kind of actor who disappeared so completely into a role that audiences often forgot his name, even while remembering his performance. That's the strange thing about his career. Success arrived late. Respect came first. Fame came much later. Viggo was born in New York City in 1958, but calling him a kid from New York doesn't really fit. His childhood stretched across continents. Before he was old enough to understand how unusual it was, he'd already lived in Venezuela, Denmark, and Argentina. Argentina especially left a permanent mark on him. Spanish became more than something he learned in school, it became part of who he was. That fascinated me because it explains something people notice about him today. He never seems tied to one place. He's always felt like someone carrying pieces of different countries wherever he goes. Life shifted again when his parents divorced. At 11 years old, he returned to New York with his mother and brothers, starting over once again. Maybe that's why he seems comfortable with uncertainty. When you've already rebuilt your life several times as a child, change doesn't scare you quite the same way. After graduating from St. Lawrence University in 1980, there wasn't some grand Hollywood plan waiting for him. Actually, there wasn't much of a plan at all. He drifted. England. Spain. Denmark. Odd jobs. Whatever paid enough to keep moving. Looking back now, it's tempting to imagine destiny guiding every step. Real life rarely works that way. One of my favorite stories about Viggo almost sounds made up. He thought he was auditioning for a play. Instead, he accidentally walked into an acting school. Imagine that. One misunderstanding. One unexpected turn. And suddenly the rest of your life looks completely different. Sometimes the biggest decisions aren't decisions at all. They are accidents we choose not to walk away from. His first movie appearance came in 1985 alongside Harrison Ford in Witness. Blink and you could miss him. Most actors would have treated a tiny role exactly like that. Tiny. Viggo didn't. Even then, he acted as though every character deserved complete commitment. Not because anyone was watching. Because he was. That distinction matters. The pattern continued through the late 1980s. Small films. Supporting parts. Projects that disappeared almost as quickly as they arrived. But something about Viggo kept catching directors'